Hello.
Welcome to an experiment.
Yeah, we thought we'd do something different.
I think that this has the potential to be a very low-key kind of a game.
Yeah. That's what we like.
It has the advantage of not having anything that is spoken or any text on the screen.
At the time of this recording, we have no idea about the release schedule for this, so we're gonna leave a silence here for me to edit it in a funny voice. Wednesdays. Tracks are still on Fridays.
That was really well timed.
Yes.
So we're going to probably just watch the opening animation here.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, take it in, appreciate it. This game is not new to either of us. Both of us have beaten it.
I've almost beaten it on New Game Plus. Really fun.
Josh is very impressive at this.
I wouldn't say that, but...
So, Blue Planet, Green Planet, The Crown.
Let's keep making fun of the guy who said this wasn't telling him anything.
Yeah, the four honchos with their honcho crystals. I believe that's the canonical term.
I think the Anubis...
Keep your eye on the central dog.
Yes, I think something happened there. A diamond halo. I think that the Anubis-looking dog's canonical name. I think his canonical name is actually Anubis.
Oh,
or at least that's what the fans have started calling him.
Not Death Dog, the Dog of Death.
Sadly, no.
He'll always be Death Dog, the Dog of Death to me. Oh, look at the rivers of blood and the giant robot mechas and
bodies and bodies and bodies.
There does appear to be a dead pterodactyl over there.
It seems like turning on the Anubis diamond was a bad idea and somehow brought us into the world.
Rivers of blood, but oh, wait a minute. Is that a hallucination? Are we just having a bad time? Uh-oh. We just bred our own shadow beast, I feel. And we must fight our inner darkness, which is our sickness.
But you can't fight a shadow with a sword.
Way more challenging than that, I tell you what.
There's the flashback shot I was talking about before.
We breed goo out of the dead earth. We are a plague vector.
And the big trailer shot right there.
Yeah, which, I mean, is a great trailer shot. And
it sure did make it look like you were going to fight these guys in the video game.
Yeah, it's true.
But they're dying right here, aren't they?
Yeah, and anyway, there's always already been a game about fighting colossuses. With a heavy shadow motif. I didn't notice that you had the text on you there.
What text?
It's the alphabet of the game. You have a word on like going from your belly button to your crotch.
Interesting.
I wonder what it says. Tumblr user Mallow, who has been steadfastly decoding this language, will have to tell us what that piece of text is.
Yeah,
once he completes his quest.
I've read what the text in the game translates to. I found it mostly unnecessary.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why it's not readable to anybody who isn't A, tireless sleuth, or B, bored in Googling.
It's there for the people who really want it, I suppose. I don't count myself
making your way through the briar patch, but you can't get to purity, no!
We've got to get the symbol of apotheosis!
Immortality is beyond you! You are ill, and illness has consumed even the symbol of apotheosis, did you say?
That's what I said.
Yeah,
just straight up borrowing it from Campbell.
It's cool. It's the quasitum. It's the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
It's the fluffernutter.
And somehow we're here.
Yep. And I can move him with my thumbs.
You think that's a statue of Death Dog?
Where?
That big
Sorry,
thing?
I'm too busy bleeding. No, it's too jowly to be Death Dog.
Maybe the people who built it don't know what Death Dog looks like.
My thumbs. I move him with my thumbs. Oh, I don't have any of my powers.
Yeah.
This is great. This is the first thing that you have to do in Secret of Mana as well, which I believe I told to Josh.
The classic subtle tutorial.
Picking up a health kit, going through these dudes. Maybe there's a secret. No, there isn't a secret. Going down the elevator. Whoop. So this is the challenge of this, and this is the thing that I was worried about.
We don't want to simply narrate our actions the whole way through.
Right. It'll make it less entertaining for those of us who don't wish to have their peepers glued to the TV screen. But
can we talk about Disaster Piece?
It's such a grossing thing, yeah.
Compose the music you're now hearing?
These little beeps and boops.
The long... I like the long drones more than the beeps and boops, personally.
Yeah.
I like his thing for bit crushing. Because I myself have a thing for bit crushing.
He's a bit crusher. Press Y to ping the HUD.
Why would you?
Does anybody know what that means?
Yeah, you don't know what that means?
Ping the HUD?
Yeah, try pressing Y, which is triangle, and see what happens.
I'm going to ping the HUD.
HUD.
Oh, there we go. I knew that.
This took me a while to figure out how to climb that the first time.
The dashy, dashy, dashy.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, whoa, is that a gun engram?
Engram?
Yeah, why not?
We're not playing Destiny.
I feel like the vocabulary of Destiny is perfectly, adequate to the situation.
I don't know what the word engram means outside of Destiny's context.
Isn't it?
No.
I was distracted. God, I feel like it has something to do with Scientology.
Really?
Yeah.
In Destiny, it means it's like a fourth state of matter, and it's data in raw form.
I thought I killed you for some
Expressed
reason.
in the world, which I think is pretty neato.
Yeah, I mean that sounds rightish.
Yeah, but there wouldn't be a word for that because that's fake.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Anybody who knows what an engram is, like, comment, and subscribe. I mean, flip it a switch. Do.
I have an opinion about this tutorial.
Oh yeah?
It's not as elegant as it could be.
What is it missing in its elegance or inelegance?
This is a difficult problem to solve, but I think it's a little bit of a shame that they couldn't find a way to do it completely without words.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The intrusion of text on the screen. There's a better word that I had on the tip of my tongue, but it's gone now.
I don't want to armchair game design too much, right? Because it's hard to test possibilities and shit. But like, it feels why couldn't you skip this view the first time? Yes, you did it this time. You got the musical cue at last. Of course, you're supposed to stand on that.
I was busy being grumpy.
Here's the confusing thing. Okay,
all right.
The confusing thing here is that you can get back to this whole area through a secret in the northern area.
Ooh,
and
confusing.
Up always means north here. So
Yeah.
you're looking further north at the city, which should be to the south of you.
Maybe this is a very small globe.
But anyway, that would work. That works.
God damn it, Isaac! Stop solving things.
It's my Star Wars headcanon that the physical laws in Star Wars are that there's air and space, planets are very, very small, and the speed of light is extremely slow.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
I wish there were more science fiction narratives that... Oh my Jesus! I wish there were more science fiction narratives that fundamentally altered fundamental laws.
Yeah.
Just like, in this universe, the ratio of the of the diameter of a circle to its circumference is 3.
And in Steven's sausage roll, pi is 2.
Is that true?
Because when you push a sausage, it flips perfectly onto its other side, but it like immediately one space over to its previous position.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That seems like a very intentional joke.
Could be.
Oh man, this house. I feel like this house is underexplored in this game because you never have a reason to go back to it.
You can change your costume here.
Oh, there you go. And, that Boba Fett looking motherfucker is, of course, features.
You want to pick up the map.
Of course I do. Zoot.
Okay, but here is where the tutorial really breaks for a lot of people. This right here, that's trying to tell you to go find those things. But when I first saw that, I was like, is this like a secret thing that'll activate later? And I've watched a few people play this on YouTube, and most people take it that way. Like, you're using words to say back view map.
Yeah,
but
you really shouldn't say back view map,
Yeah.
You could at least do a pictogram of a controller.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Instead of saying Y interact with switches, you just have the Y button over the switch, right?
Yeah,
it seems
absolutely.
like that would work.
Warp here anytime using the map.
That one.
That would have been very difficult to communicate.
Right. Although I think for people with the literacy, like the fact that you just touched a teleporter pad looking thing.
And this game is for people with the literacy, just sort of as a general matter.
Here's another thing. A lot of people take this dog to mean that you're supposed to go right first.
And right is one of the harder ways.
It has the easier boss.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I remember that boss is a pushover.
Yeah.
But getting to him is difficult. Did I go right the first time that I played?
I think
I'm gonna have to go to Bird Zone.
You went down first.
Yeah, but you can't go down.
Work. Yeah, and then I think.
So
right.
I'm going up actually.
Yeah, up is a good way to go.
Yep. I have no cash, so I don't have to interact with any of these plebs.
There's an achievement in this game for getting all of the NPCs to respond to you, even the ones who don't have dialogue. You might have noticed if you buzz at them, they make a noise.
Nice. Perhaps we'll do that at some point.
Yeah, that'll be a good way to spend an episode of a Let's Play.
Hey, dude, what?
Hunt down every single NPC.
You're just gonna... He's confused.
Just leave him be.
Yeah, I think that
No need to hurt the little guy.
He's doing his life. I'm doing mine.
There's a secret somewhere around here.
Is it this?
That may... Well, yes. Well, that hardly qualifies. But there's another one. There's one of those invisible platform things.
Is there?
Yeah, I think it's a little further up north. But you might as well get the gear bit.
It's $1.
Yeah, it's $1. It's 1/4 of $1.
It's 25 cents. It's 2 bits,
Ah.
which is what Will Hensworth call it.
Yeah, I think it's along this ledge.
Not here, for example.
There it is.
Yeah, that looked more like the thing. Oh, it's 2 bits.
My favorite part of this game, weirdly, was
God,
just
I'm
like going back
soothed as a motherfucker.
Yeah,
by
I know,
this
it's
soundtrack.
instantaneous.
It's astounding. I'm in a better place right now. That's part of what makes playing this game like inherently,
right. And it's the same.
just pleasurable and joyous.
It's the same thing that works about Dark Souls, because you still feel that even when the combat is challenging you.
And maybe it's part of why I read, or why I listen to Boards of Canada while I read Car Killers. I have no idea whether or when we're putting this out that'll make sense in terms of continuity. So long, dear.
It should, yeah. We won't put this out before that Let's Play. I mean, that tries. But anyway,
No doubt.
hi guys. Thanks for watching literally every video so you can keep up with what we're saying.
The occasional dropped reference isn't a bad thing.
No.
But yeah, and as a result, I think that this might, the thing that people were concerned about in the comments section, because we didn't actually talk about this at all in the last tracks, the thing that people were concerned about losing, I think, was the sense of low-key, flow-key, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's achievable in other ways.
I will
Storytelling.
Someone today told me that their concern was that a proper Let's Play will be less watchable for a person who's not actually interested in video games, which is a good point. And I
That's
think
true.
we actually do have a few of those in our audience.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the sort of the natural commercial urge would be to hew towards a thing that already exists, which is videos of video games on the internet.
Hey, go back down.
And I'm sure that some of our audience is
What's
also.
that?
That's a good question. What is that?
Go on.
What is that?
Yeah,
What is that?
I value that we have people who
What
are
is
video game
that?
people in our audience. But luckily, this is a problem that we've
What's
already
that?
solved with our brilliant release schedule that we've figured out and discussed.
Yeah, absolutely. We're never going to stop doing trucks. I think that's the basic deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard it here first, folks.
Trucks for the rest
trucks
of our
for
lives.
the rest of our life. I mean, when we're no longer living together, it's going to get harder. But
Only marginally.
It's true.
Maybe by the time we're not living together, there'll be fiber optic internet, so you'll be able to watch the stream with no delay.
Absolutely. Or who knows?
Or we'll just have conversations and edit it over trucks. One of my hobbies is imagining future incarnations of trucks,
Yeah,
and like there's a lot of ways it could go.
that's true. Hey,
You
guys.
don't remember how to get that secret up there? We had a big conversation about it the first time you came through here.
Yeah.
And you got it, whereas I failed in my own playthrough. That last guy is scared of you and doesn't want to fight, but you murdered
sorry.
him anyway.
He was a risk, and I got a whole buck.
It's funny because while playing this game, I said to myself, this game is really fun and I like it a lot, but if I were the sort of person who cares about which game is the best, which, let's be honest, I am,
Yeah.
I would say this game it lacks that game of the year potential, right? It doesn't have that specialness, but I have surprised myself by coming back to it for as long and as frequently as I have. So maybe my initial judgment was off. Maybe this game just has an X factor.
What is Game of the Year specialness?
I don't know, what in other, I guess the cross-media term for it would be greatness,
Yeah, but what does that involve? What does that entail in video game life?
I don't know, originality.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, a collection of other ideas, but
Yeah.
like it's certainly not unique in that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, people would have. Hello, monster.
But a game.
Remember this view and think about it later on.
A game that I would, go out of my way to say is like the favorite game I've played all year is a game that shows me something new, and I'd say this game just is a sterling retelling of old ideas.
What would that game be?
Well, the original Dark Souls obviously is going to be my first choice for one of my favorite games, and that game, that game had a lot going on, and I don't know, this year, Steven Sausage Roll.
I mean, what's new in Steven Sausage Roll besides the like lackadaisical design and
it's a puzzle
content mismatch / match?
Well, yeah, that's something. It's a puzzle game which isn't too interested in the mystique of puzzles, while having the most mystical puzzles you've ever played. I mean, that's a juxtaposition that I have not personally encountered in the past.
It really feels like... Oh, hello. I forgot about you guys.
Hello, for those just joining us, we're talking about greatness.
We're talking about... we're talking about chickens, we're talking about eggs. Hey, it's a...
I don't know, I mean, it may be...
Can't do anything with that.
But I mean, you must know on some level what I'm talking about, because the first time I shared this thought with you, you said absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think that I think that it's true. It's just that I wanted to tease a little bit more out of you.
Yeah, it is a hard one to justify, because I do feel like there have been times when a game just did the thing I like really well, and I've said, yeah, this is it. This is perfect. This is the best game ever.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with how new that thing is,
right,
because you recognize it as the thing you like.
And of course,
I feel like that kind of greatness involves a certain amount of disruption. You should not be comfortable. And the way that this game makes me feel really comfortable,
really comfortable.
Greatness should be about something that is jarring.
Yeah, it lacks that particular kind of challenge, maybe.
Yeah. Hello, Death Dog. Halo. He has a halo. Halo, Death Dog, Dog of Death. Hey, look, it's the man.
It's Proto Man. That's what I call him. Whistling into the Let's Play.
That's Proto Man's theme.
Yeah, I know. Found a diamond once. Caused some bad stuff. Bad stuff.
The shadows. Maybe I'm doing a bad, which is not a unique idea at all.
Maybe I'm doing it bad. That's how you read that. Interesting. That has never been my interpretation of that particular thing. My thing there is more just this guy's in a similar situation as I am.
It's true, but like
what about that reads as doing it bad?
Well, there's sort of a theme that this game comes back to where it's not clear whether you're like renewing anything by collecting these power sources or just kind of leeching away what life force is left.
Right. And the ending is ambiguous. I was just curious about it.
There does seem to be an organizing principle of it, but like. That posits a direct link between, stealing the stuff and
causing the stuff to happen.
And causing the shadows to appear.
Right.
Whereas it's like, the Indiana Jones thing. That roly ball of doom happened because I took the idol, and for no other reason.
Right.
Whether that's a trap or an indication that you're doing a bad... I mean, I was talking earlier about Redder, and I suppose that's part of what brings it to my mind. Mm-hmm. Because that's a game where you have to collect a certain number of, I believe it's glowing pyramids, quite like the one in this game. I could get that health kit, but I don't need it. You have to collect a certain number of glowing things, but as you collect the glowing things, the world becomes derezzed and derezzed and derezzed.
Very corrupt as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I like Redder so much. We love the glitch aesthetic.
We do. It's a good aesthetic. I think it's genuinely one of the relevant aesthetics. It's not just something teens like. It's something that
it's not just something teens like.
No, it's something that we are contending with as a culture. If you ask me, the glitch aesthetic, like this sense that the world we're living in is increasingly digital and the fallibility that comes with that. I think there's something to it, and I think it's a big unanswered question.
Do you see that? What's going on over here?
It looks like someone dropped a gear bit which got stuck in that rock.
Oh, a glitch! We were just talking about those. Dang it!
Does this make you like the game more? Is that part
months.
of your aesthetic?
No,
Maybe
it's not on purpose.
If you leave the room and come back, it might work.
Yeah, let's try that a shot. It'll just make the enemies respawn. Oh, yep, there it is.
What do you think of my glitch aesthetic manifesto?
I think that like a tremendous amount of my lived experience involves things that I rely on not working properly, from my belongings to my relationships to my body.
Right.
So there's definitely something to that. And, looking for the beauty in, for example, in this game, in the body not working properly is, definitely a thing.
Yeah.
That one is on the ground that I can't stand on. Boy, this game sure got a lot easier, didn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? That's what's cool about New Game Plus, because I think for the most part you wouldn't have died yet if you were playing New Game Plus.
I got hit once. I got hit once.
Was it a 2 damage hit?
No.
There you go then.
I've not taken more than 1 tick of damage, but maybe this is my moment.
Yeah, this is a
Hey, Crow.
fairly tricky fight. Well, it can be anyway. This is where the music goes great too.
Oh, there you go. That would be my death.
Yep.
In the Game Plus.
But then again, the calculus is... Oh, there's a truck! The calculus is difficult because...
We can't get away from them, man.
If you were in New Game Plus, you'd have a bunch more abilities.
That's true.
So the fight would have played out differently from square one.
It's true.
Shoot him out of the sky. Or do that. That works
I'm
too.
harvesting bullets at the moment. Oh, hey, Ice Wolf. Ah, fuck me.
Those are the enemies that get you.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the Ice Wolves. For whatever reason, I have a tough time grokking their rhythms.
They have hyper armor on their attack. That's what it is. Yay.
I did it.
Effortless. Almost.
Wasn't really. That one required a little bit of thinking.
My first time through the game, that took me a few tries.
Yeah.
You got it your first time, but that's because this was the second place you came to.
Yeah. I had warp here anytime using the map. Yeah, explain things to me. Explain them harder.
Well, it explains that every time. And another problem is there's a lengthy section in this game where you're just not gonna fire your gun because it's not the types of enemies that guns are good for, and the game reminds you, like hours into the game, that
you can
your gun's fully charged. You can fire it.
Yeah.
Your melee attack has recharged it. And like this game has been given so much love. Like it's not like this is a big problem that ruins the game or anything like that. Obviously, it's just surprising to see things like that in this lovely piece of work.
We know criticism, video game criticism, doesn't really criticize for the most part, but yeah.
Oh, we're just nitpicking anyway. It's not really. It's not the kind of edifying criticism that people want to read.
No, not at all. What am I doing?
There's a fence.
Come on.
But yeah, like AVB tweeted today that the game reviews should be objective crowd are wrong, but I'm paraphrasing her tweet as close to word for word as I can. That crowd is wrong, but they correctly observed that most game reviews don't provide the explanations for their opinions. They don't...
Yeah. I mean, we've had this discussion so many times.
You remember this secret? No, you don't. This was the first secret you found that I had missed.
Oh yeah, I remember it now. And I didn't. Did I find it on purpose or
no?
by
You
just
got
getting
crushed.
squished? So I can't really take credit.
Oh my god! But this room vexed me for a long time in my secret hunting run because I was trying to figure out how to get to that teleporter, and I kept telling myself I already know about that secret by the Crusher.
Oh, Josh. Oh, Joshy Josh.
There's another secret in there. You want to go see it?
Where?
Back in that room.
Oh, okay. I missed it.
Spoiler alert, by the way, on this particular playthrough, on this ledge.
Oh, it's one of the invisibles?
Yep.
I guess it does have the hole there. Yep, there she blows.
Coyly lighting up on the edge of your screen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey! It's a big one, too.
Yeah. You see how fluent and wonderful this combat system is?
It's lovely.
Room for expression, that's what you want.
This is not a room for expression. This is a room for getting murdered.
Yeah, this might actually be harder than that other fight. I guess that makes sense. It being secret and all. Mm-hmm. And there's just a gear bit on the line? That's a surprise. Oh, that looks like it could be a secret there.
It probably isn't. I think the way that these things work is
Often the combat
telling me
secrets
that-
have
something
things.
more major.
It's
on
not a secret.
It's
Well,
not.
All right.
Maybe it's in here.
Happy gear. Oh, and a medkit. That's fair then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fun times. I had an enjoyment.
Here is why this game wasn't great.
Yeah.
And I mean great with a capital G. The secrets lack a certain sense of revelation.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that the game...
That is kind of the issue, is that there is not quite enough content. It's quite fuck me.
You don't just mean it's too short, right?
No, I mean there's not enough variation in what actually occurs.
Yeah, like
I mean,
Fez,
which is it's understandable, because there's like, Fez keeps introducing new gimmicks. I mean, and like, fuck me sideways. This is embarrassing. There's I mean, I understand that, like, the central mechanics are so juicy, that it's hard to see why you wouldn't go back to that well over and over again.
right?
But I think they could still have possibly used to.
It's hard. Like in a game like Fez, it's easier to bake some interesting stuff into your mechanics. Whereas this, it's like, it's hard to know what else you could do. It's hard to know what kind of mix-ups you could throw in there.
That was a bad scene for Isaac. I don't like turrets.
Right.
Like all good Let's Players, I don't like turrets.
In some beta footage, the turrets were destructible, but they made them invincible. I don't know. Like, I feel a slight pang of guilt every time I talk about degrees of greatness, because in some way the concept feels imaginary, but then when I rationalize it to myself, it's like, I believe in degrees of goodness, so what's to say there isn't the highest possible degree of goodness?
Well, I think part of it is because it's such a classic nerd masculine thing to do. You feel close to making top 10 lists when you're doing that.
And like,
also when you create a canon, you are stay there, Mushes. You are when you create a canon, you are excluding things, and you're excluding things that are not personally appealing to you.
Right. It's a hierarchical exercise. And but the thing is, this game is very close to my heart, right? Like I'm not excluding it because I don't like it. I like it a lot more than some things that I believe intellectually to be better than it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know why I feel compelled to engage in this exercise.
That's what I wanted. For you to get your fucking squish on. Yeah, well, I mean, this is an interesting thing, right? It's like, it's incumbent upon us to learn a couple of things.
Yeah.
And one of the major things that you have to learn if you're going to be a critic or like a decent human being who likes art.
Yeah.
One of the things that you have to learn is that your eyes are not the eyes of the universe,
Yeah.
That your perspective is not the default perspective. And for us, that means learning that whiteness is not default, that maleness is not default.
Sure.
If you know what I mean. It's
This room can be painful because you're going to go back for that med kit every time, because that room drains some med kits.
from bums.
And that gear bit.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it involves learning that whiteness is not default, maleness is not default, and
Right.
that if you want not to be terrible, you're going to have to
uncouple your subjectivity from...
you're going to have to uncouple your subjectivity from who you are, and that means you're going to have to actively seek out and attempt to enjoy things that might not immediately automatically be in your wheelhouse, which will enrich you eventually,
Right.
if you develop the ability to like speak those languages and to understand those things.
But there's kind of this flips both ways, right? This sausage kind of cooks on both sides.
This pi equals 2 sausage.
And that, like, this what you're saying, while true, is in danger of making it sound like as much as I love Hyper Light Drifter, I believe that it is somehow objectively like less great than other things, which isn't really a safe claim to make. And it's
well, here's part 2 of what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is that I said it's incumbent upon us to, son of a bitch. I'm dying a different way every time.
I love how every time we come onto a difficult subject, we enter a quagmire.
It makes playing the game more difficult to talk about complicated things.
You want me to get through this room while
I expand the point that I'm making?
Yeah.
Sure. So here's the
watch me get killed embarrassingly.
You'll be fine. I've been doing okay, and Josh is better at video games than I am by a good margin. Even though I keep telling him he's terrible at video games, it's a joke. That was a joke all along.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I need to keep playing while I talk. Yes. Anyway, so part 1 is you learn that you can't be trusted necessarily, and you learn to doubt your joy, basically. Right. And it's a painful thing to learn to doubt your joy, to understand.
I made a mistake.
Boy, did you ever. But not a fatal one. What the fuck happened there?
There's a gap there. Lucky me.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry about your health kit.
Used up one of my health kits, bro. My last one.
You'll be fine. Wow, this has not helped you expand your point at all.
Yeah, no, it hasn't, because I'm too invested in your success. So you have to learn to doubt your joy. That's thing 1. But the second thing, which can be, I think, equally difficult because it involves nuance, is you have to then learn to come back to your joy. You have to learn to listen to your joy. After you have learned to acknowledge that it isn't the be-all and end-all, and it isn't the rule by which everybody should live their lives.
Right.
You have to then accept that it's an incredibly important tool in your personal arsenal of...
The big bird room.
In your personal arsenal of not getting killed by innumerable birds. Oh God, this is terrible.
I feel like this is only while interesting, this is only tangentially addressing my concern, right? Which is that I'm not exactly sure why it is that I feel it is important for me to understand.
You didn't earn that heroic pose there, kiddo.
You got through it. Sometimes surviving is heroic.
Super dead.
Well, luckily that was the end of the dungeon, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Yeah, look at that. Good for me.
Did you catch what I was saying there?
Yeah. That it's the particular narrative that I was painting there is not relevant to your thoughts about this particular game. But I'm not.
It's relevant.
I'm not saying that that's like that. Even though like the sort of the social justice arc is part of that, it's also about like not being an asshole.
Right.
But the point being that I think at a certain point you have to turn around and be like, this brings me joy.
Right. And this absolutely does bring me joy. And I think what's kind of puzzling me right now is that there's kind of 2 layers of subjectivity here, if you see what I mean. Mm-hmm. There's my subjective response that I love this game very much and I deeply enjoy playing it more than most other games. And there's my other subjective response, which I call my intellectual response, but that's not to be confused with an objective response.
Yeah.
That it is somehow less perfect than a lot of other games.
I mean, I feel like
that is the response that I would write about as a critic of this game. Like, that's my critical response.
Yeah, but it is in no way. Let's see. So last time I got the dash first.
The quick dash is kind of the one you should get first.
I think you're probably right. Hey, bro, tell me your wares non-verbally.
So I guess it's just the old question again, which is what is criticism for, especially in this age of the internet when it's really easy for anybody to come to their own opinion.
It's gonna take me a second to get the quick dash back.
Yeah. And that's a question I ask all the time on trucks.
Yeah.
But there are so many different ways to answer it, and different ways to ask it.
I feel that it's... I mean, the part of you that sees symmetry, right? The part of you that sees, well, this is not as perfect an item as it could be, is in no way a more objective response than the "this brings me joy" response. It's just the vocabulary of it is suited to the task at hand, if you see what I mean.
Right. It's impossible for a critic to comment on how much joy anything might bring a person.
Yeah, you can make art about that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's part of what fandom is for. And part of what, not necessarily transformative, but works of commentary are for. I don't have enough triangles to get in there yet.
Nor this one down here.
Nope, I'm in the wrong place. I can't even get a shortcut back to town from here. What a ding-dong.
This is an example, right? The 8 triangle door. It's so tantalizing. You think, what's going to be behind that? And it's another dungeon. Like you could swap 2 of the dungeons, and the difficulty might be slightly out of whack, but otherwise, it would.
We are lacking a certain amount of continuity here. Is it actually around further down to the left?
Yeah, there's more stuff to the left.
I thought there was.
We still haven't paid off that giant visual you commented on earlier.
Mm-hmm. But it's like we also talk about, you know, what's criticism for?
Yeah.
I mean, criticism is not to make perfect art because that's stupid.
Right.
Criticism is a way of enjoying art.
Yeah.
It's a particularly brutal way of enjoying art in certain respects.
There
but
it is.
Look, there's his hand. I'm walking on his hand.
It's too bad you can't walk down in there. It's a level on his shoulder. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's my critical response.
Come on, game designers. Get with it. This is clearly a place.
Yeah. It's so funny how those become so much more obvious as you keep playing this.
Yeah.
And that is the cool thing, right? You get better at speaking its language.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've talked about this almost exhaustively in terms of like vocabulary, right? This is a game that feels like learning a language, and in fact, you can literally learn a language, as we discussed, if you're so inclined, although you're not required to do so. I'm not good at
shooting.
Shush. Oh, no.
I have never, ever seen, practically, I have seen it a couple times, but you never use the aim button in combat.
No, I don't. I think that's probably says something about me.
There's a gun for this playstyle, and you've refused to use it.
What, the shotgun?
The Magnum.
The Magnum? I don't do things that make sense. I do things that feel good.
It's true. The pistol does feel the best.
I'm out of bullets, though.
You died.
Oh, dear. On the point of hitting the medkit button, too. My earlier fluency is all at 6s and 7s at this point, which we discussed.
Joke.
We discussed the yes. Anyway, sorry, but also a thing that other people do know about.
Yeah, it is a weird phrase. We learned the other day that at 6s and 7s is a real phrase that exists in various forms in various languages, and nobody's really sure about the origin of it. Ain't language interesting?
I think people are pretty sure that one started with gambling, a particular gambling game. But anyway,
well then, never mind. Not an interesting anecdote at all.
Oh, we tried our best. My point, but anyway, we were talking about what the point of criticism was, right?
Yes.
And about how it's brute force.
You messed up.
I did.
Tell me about the point of criticism.
That's what I wanted to do.
It's a way to understand art. I think that's what you're driving at, right?
It is one mode of interacting with art.
Yeah.
And you know, there are
for some
particular
reason it's the most shareable mode in some way.
Well, I mean, it's because its language is replicable. You know, it's the scientific method. You know, it pretends to point toward truth, which it doesn't, I think.
Right.
As a general matter, but it at its best it explicates the relationship between art and culture in a way that is genuinely useful, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like, if we don't see the assumptions about the superiority of this particular way of interacting with things, and just assume that it is a path to being right about things, then we run the risk of being a fucking jackass.
And of course, I'd say that the criticism which is popular right now, the method of criticism which is popular right now, at least in video games, is cautious of making claims to objectivity and prefers to just poetically relate the subjective experience.
Yeah, but you're losing the thing that criticism is good at if you do that. You're just writing a fic.
It's not exactly
point.
meta. It's meta.
It's meta. You're writing meta when, I mean, the joy of this is in part theoretics. It is in part, you know, traditions of criticism. It is in part dueling philosophies, you know?
Yeah.
It's... There's a more difficult but a more potent way to make these interactions.
It's all confusing. My mind goes in circles on this stuff. Because you know, I do think that certain assumptions about criticism it's high time for some of them to be modified, right? Like the objective language, the language that assumes objectivity, probably isn't useful anymore.
Well, I mean, there are people who... I think everybody feels that that's mostly been abandoned, and there are people who are trying to bring it back, who are mostly people who miss the point in time when their cultural... when their cultural standpoint was the only one that mattered.
But it's also just a problem that our language is inefficient at couching things in subjectivity. Like if you're beginning every sentence with "it can be read that," you know, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, there's part of the secondary language of criticism, and this is like one of the things that I really enjoy. I mean, and you have to make your way back to this point because it has to be earned, because it comes out of a community where people are able to trust each other to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Where nobody feels that they're being erased or that their perspective is being called immoral or childish.
Right.
You know? But like, you know the kind of writing that I'm talking about. It's the kind of writing where it just goes for it. It just is like, you know, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth.
Yeah, and it's emphatic to read that kind of stuff.
You know,
emphatic isn't the right word.
It's exciting, you know, but it's also what this ought to be, you know. It's reading Nietzsche, you know.
Yeah.
And that's you know, obviously that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Or can be dangerous, but it's also
Yeah, those guys have a habit of doing that.
I guess they still think their wings work.
Missile guy coming. Remember him?
Oh yeah, I remember him.
See if you can slice his missile out of the air. I dare you.
Okay.
Good start.
I don't think I can.
Everybody's good at shooting.
I guess.
Did he just blow himself to
He
smithereens?
did.
Wow.
He's a real special one.
So you were speaking in support of objective language just then?
I was speaking in support of objective language within a framework where it is understood that the person speaking does not actually think that they are God.
Yeah.
You know, that they do not actually have that sort of British colonial confidence in their own way of being.
Tevis Thompson exemplifies this nicely.
Yeah. And, like, it's easier to do that if you're not us, you know, because then it's obvious that you're working against a particular narrative, and, like, using your, you know, your fists and feet against a dominant cultural narrative is, you know, justified.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming from our place, you have to do it with humor. You have to do it with humility. There has to be that balance of like
This is clearly a good place to call it an episode, by the way.
Yeah, I think it is. There has to be that balance of joy and of reflection and self-awareness that means that you can be both entertaining and beautiful and lyrical without being a dick. And I think that's achievable.
Yeah.
But I think it is a more complicated task for people whose opinions are more likely to be taken seriously by default.
Cool. That's a good takeaway.
All right.
This conversation may continue next time if we keep doing this.
Yeah, isn't it funny that the last trucks we did was such a nonsense that this is the one where we ended up.
It's because of the serious tone of this thing. It's putting us in the mood to contemplate things seriously.
This is the thing.
It's what Malo said would happen. Malo, you were right.
Malo is very, very smart. I mean, I just want to say that I'm very glad that I found that dude. All right.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
So long.